entire website exists to meet one objective from the consumer's point of view. It's to provide information that viewers care about and your services and pricing, examples of your work. And there really is no other reason, absolutely none. What I find in looking at orthopedic websites, and I will show you a couple of examples here in a few minutes, is that they're not writing for patients. Write clear, easy to understand, patient-focused content and stop doing this. Pioneering the most scientifically advanced regenerative treatments founded in a curated experience with holistic influences, we create powerful treatments, blah, 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 blah. That is the kind of content that I see on websites everywhere. And it can be AI generated, it can be just somebody that doesn't know what the hell they're doing because they clearly are not talking to patients under those circumstances. And I find a lot of times doctors do not read what's on their website. So they don't actually, they think it looks pretty good, but they haven't actually read it. And when I looked at, I mentioned earlier that I had done some research on a lot of our luminaries, and I read their website content, and I thought, who writes this? Who writes this stuff? Because it really wasn't for patients. So introducing NanoFat as a new procedure. And one of the websites that I did find that I thought was really, really well done is Dr. Gavami, who does happen to be our chair, one of our chairs here. And so I asked his permission. I said, yours is the only one I've seen recently that I could find that really was talking to consumers about NanoFat. It's up front and center on his website, fat transfer and nano-fat grafting. Right up front on the banner, keep them guessing, nano-fat transfer and nano-fat grafting, Beverly Hills, Los Angeles. And it's well written, it's engaging. How does nano-fat grafting work? Nano-fat grafting treatment details. So I took it a couple steps further and we created, now I do not do his marketing, I did not do his website, but I liked it a lot. And I said, well, let me just go ahead and create a fictitious event e-blast for you using your branding and a front desk poster so that I can show our audience, what does that whole process look like? How do you take that branding and you carry it across everything else that you're doing? And then a printed invitation. Now, why I chose to do the printed invitation is you may think that events are dead. We have a practice in St. Louis, Renaissance Plastic Surgery. We've been doing events for them for 15 years. The first event we did generated $800,000 in revenue over a couple of days in their practice. Now we're generating well over $1 million in revenue in one location, Marie, and now we're all virtual. All of the events are virtual. And we didn't lose a beat. They are still buying that volume of product because they are consistently getting this kind of information and they are anticipating it. I'll come back. Just a second. And then these are just the social media snippets. We just took it a few steps further and just wanted to showcase how everything else would look. So you had a question.
My question is, in introducing something that you haven't done.
Introducing something you haven't done before.
Yeah. It's much the same as introducing a new device that you might have bought at a conference or symposium. There are lots of anecdotes and discussion that I've heard as to what's the best way to get that service or device to start producing revenue in your practice in the most expeditious manner possible. In your opinion, as a marketing person, what should a practice do to facilitate that?
Okay, good question. Anybody else want to know the answer to that? How many of you are doing NanoFat right now? You're using it in your practice? Only a few of you, okay. Well, before I would start working on patients and advertising it, I would probably want to do a few patients within the office, and I would probably want to, you have patients that trust you and love you and will pretty much do what you suggest. And you certainly want to be able to let them know, I have not done this before, but I've been injecting Juvederm and I've been injecting, other injectables. It's going to be very similar. So I certainly am not a novice at injecting, but we're going to be doing something very special for you. We're going to be using a little bit of your own fat tissue, and we're going to be distilling it, and we're going to use that on you instead. And so you do need some volunteers. And if your staff is willing, that would be helpful too. Marie, do you have another way that you do that?
Right.
Same.
Patients and then staff, yeah.
Well, we just introduced a new product in her office using nanofat in conjunction with it, which was microcoring. And so it was a brand new piece of equipment, and they were also using nanofat for the first time. And we were using it as a clinical study. So you might even want to consider it as doing like a little mini clinical study within your practice and advertising it as that. And I would say in those cases, I would not be charging for that procedure. Does that answer the question? Okay. So language that's easy to understand and addresses patients' issues. So when we wrote the first marketing piece for your practices for Tulip, this is where we felt like this really needed to be easy. Say hello to truly younger skin. It is natural and safe. Your fat is highly versatile, minimal downtime. Fat transfer is the all-natural alternative to filler. So the language is really upfront, in their face, easy to understand, and I think really takes it to that level. And then having before and after photos, or having photos, and then listing all of the things that it will do. And these are the types of things that I would actually hand to a patient and actually put that in their hand and then go over the details with them and then show them, here's what we've been doing and here are some of the benefits of nanofat that I think you're really going to enjoy.